This is your Daily 5 for Tuesday, April 7th, 2026. For one of our movie commentary films this week, we watched a movie that was actually a real roll of the dice. So we just watched The Fifth Element, which we, of course, knew what that was. We knew it was going to be a lot of fun, and it was. So I wanted to have us watch something that especially Lando, but even I had never really even heard of this one, even though its genre and time would put it dead square to something I'd be interested in. 1985's Nothing Underneath, which is an Italian slasher film from 1985, which you would think I'd have heard of because I really love these movies. And yet this one was a total unknown to me. I came across, and I don't even know how I came across it, but I came across the movie artwork for it, which has this really striking cover art, which barely relates to the film, but of course, at that time period, artwork having a direct representation of the film was not something you saw very often. But I saw it, and then I saw what it was roughly about, meaning an Italian slasher. And I saw some images from it, and I went, okay, this could be either really good or really bad. We just came off something that we knew we were familiar with. We knew it was solid. Let's take a chance on something, and we watched it. And honestly, it was a lot better than I think either of us had expected, because when it starts out, you would, and to some degree would be correct, you would think that this is just a sleazy Italian slasher film, of which there were many, and that might be something we're delving into for a while, because Italian sleaze is just magnificent. But honestly, a lot of the time, when you're getting into these kind of slasher films where they're throwing a lot of skin at you, it becomes pretty clear that what they're more interested in is the nudity as opposed to the story. So there's a lot of that sleazy type of stuff that I'll never watch again because, yes, okay, there's nudity, but there's nudity everywhere. It's easy to find, and that's not an interesting movie for me. So a lot of them become very forgettable, or you wish that there was more to it than just, yes, some beautiful people with no clothing on. That's perfectly fine, but there's going to be 90 minutes of film that will show you more of that if that's your top priority anyway, and much of it is free to watch on the internet now. So it's not as difficult a proposition as it used to be, so that type of stuff just doesn't hold up. Whereas this movie, yes, there's plenty of skin, you're going to see it, but the murder mystery is actually quite good. Lando and I were left guessing for the majority of the movie. We really couldn't figure out. We had some ideas, but we weren't really sure, and the movie was doing a good job of keeping it off kilter enough that it took us till almost the end of the film to arrive at our kind of, okay, it's one of these two people type of moment. And honestly, the other thing that I think is impressive is, unlike a lot of Italian slashers, I actually had quite a bit of empathy for who the killer turned out to be. Now, I say that doesn't excuse all the murders. It absolutely does not. But you do have an understanding of what set these things in motion. And the best of Italian slashers, or Gialli, they do that, but many of them do not. In many cases, they go for a out-of-nowhere surprise where the logic really doesn't make sense, the motivation isn't there, and it's really, it's clear that what they're just trying to do is shock the viewer by having something that you would never expect. But there's ways to do things that are unexpected because you simply didn't know the whole story, but the pieces were actually there if you watched it all along. And then there's the unexpected stuff that just doesn't make any sense because it wasn't set up properly. And this movie is a proper way of doing something where there's a surprise, but then it all makes sense when you actually go back and watch the movie. There's a number of things that are set up and paid off very well. And the only real criticism that honestly I would give the movie is that Donald Pleasence of Halloween is in this film as an Italian police detective who at times is doing one of the most bafflingly awful Italian accents I've ever heard. They should have just said that he was an American who emigrated, because he's almost not speaking in the accent probably 60% of the time. And then when he dips into it, it's almost like somebody trying to do a Super Mario impression and not even getting that right, which it is notable. You definitely pay attention to it, but I don't think it really helps the movie at all. Although the scene where he and the main lead are having a discussion about the murders in a Wendy's is, again, highly memorable, but boy, oh boy, is it strange. Overall, though, that's really my only criticism. This one is an easy one to watch for free. It's in a number of different streaming services. And if you've never heard of it, as we didn't, and you like Italian slasher films, Nothing Underneath is worth seeing. Later.